education bestowed on Flora Poste by her parents had been expensive, athletic, and prolonged. And when they died during the annual epidemic of the Spanish plague, which occurred in her 20th year, she was discovered to possess every art and grace, save that of earning her own living. The death of her parents caused Flora little grief, for she'd barely known them. After the funeral, she returned to the house of her friend Mrs. Smiling at No. 1 Mouse Place, Lambeth.
Was the funeral awful?
Horrid. Though I'm bound to say all my older relatives seem to enjoy it no end.
Ah, did any of them ask you to go and live with them? I meant to warn you about that. Relatives are always wanting you to go and live with them.
No. Well, remember, Mary, I've only £100 a year now, and I can't play bridge.
Bridge? What curious ways people have of passing their time, to be sure. Now, Flora, you mustn't be feeble. You must take up some kind of work and then earn enough money to have a little flat of your own.
What kind of work?
Organising work, like I used to do. Before my marriage, I was an organiser for the LCC.
Oh, what did you do exactly, Mary?
Oh, bookkeeping, beekeeping. Oh, don't ask me. It's so long since I've done any, I've forgotten. But it was organising. I'm sure you could manage it. You know, Flora, you'll be perfectly miserable if you don't have a job. Besides, £100 a year isn't even going to keep you in stockings and fans. What will you live on?
My relatives.
Oh, Flora, don't be ridiculous.
Yes, Mary. I'm only 19, but I've already observed that whereas there still lingers some absurd prejudice against living on one's friends, no limits are set to the amount one may impose on one's relatives.
Flora, you're insane.
That's what relatives are for, surely. Darling, did you get the brassiere?
No, I already had it in my collection.
Oh.
It was just a variation on the Weaver design, with 3 elastic sections in front instead of 2, as I had hoped.
Would that have made it more rare?
Naturally, Flora. 2-section brassieres are extremely rare.
I shall write to all my relatives, asking them if they're willing to give me a home in exchange for my beautiful eyes and my £100 a year.
Well, Flora, I think that's perfectly immoral.
When I found one relative was willing to have me, I shall take him or her in hand, alter his or her character and mode of living to suit my own taste. Nice talk.
You are mad.
But I'm all for civilizing people. Do you think a circular letter would be a good idea?
It was while she was pondering over the style best suited to the relatives in Sussex that she was struck by the singularity of their address. Dawn crept over the downs like a sinister white beast, followed by the snarling cries of a wind eating its way between the black boughs of the thorns. The wind was the furious voice of this sluggish animal light that was bearing the dormers and mullions and scullions of Cold Comfort Farm.
"'Tis Flora Poste. She claims her right. She'd come live with us.
Robert Poste's child?
Husband mine, thy misdeeds have come home to roost. Amos, thou once did her father a great wrong.
The seed to the flower to the fruit to the belly, and so it mun go.
Oh, silence!
She mun come. She mun come to claim her right.
The day of reckoning had to come. You must atone. But mother must be told. Mrs. Beetle,
Don't pick
wilt
on
thou
me.
come with me? I need your strength. I cannot do it alone.
Don't you fret yourself, missus. I'll stand by you, come what may.
Thank you, Mrs. Beetle.
Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Galatians 6, verse 7. Well, there's sowing and reaping aplenty for all to do, huh? It's a godless habit, this lazing around and gluttonizing on a working day. Saith my son. Oh, you can hide things from me, but you can't hide them from the Lord. Oh, no. He has his reeking pits all stoked up with fiery eternity and just waiting for them that breaks the seventh commandment. Aye, and for them that waits on dead men's shoes.
Aunt Ada Doom. Core, matrix, the focusing point of this cursed house. All the wandering waves of desire, passion, jealousy, lust, that throbbed through the farm walls converged web-like upon her core solitude.
It was a burning noonday, 69 years ago, and me no bigger than a titty wren. I saw something nasty in the woodshed.
Let's see what Aunt Gwen in Worthing has to say.
Well, I think it's perfectly degrading of you, Flora. Do you truly mean to say that you never intend to work at anything?
Well, when I'm 53 or so, I should like to write a novel as good as Jane Austen's Persuasion.
You have a cinnamon wafer, darling.
Oh, I adore them. For the next 30 years, I shall be collecting material for it. No one can object to that. Besides, so I shall be. We'll have a real homey atmosphere, plenty of fun. Perhaps you'll not mind giving a hand with the dogs. Well, how kind.
Who's that from?
Which? Uncle McNag in Perthshire. Dear Flora, shocked at your distressing news. Delighted for you to shelter under my roof for as long as you care to fold the white wings of your girlhood here. Oh, how sweet.
Interesting bird life can be observed in the marshes which surround the house on three
No
sides.
bedroom. My mother's cousin in South Kensington offers me her attic. She also keeps the parrot up there.
Oh, do open the howling one, the one from Cold Comfort.
I think if I find I've any cousins at Cold Comfort Farm called Seth or Reuben, I shall decide not to go. Because highly sexed young men living on farms are always called Seth or Reuben. It'd be such a nuisance. And my cousin's name, remember, is Judith. Dear niece, so you are after your rights at last.
Why?
Child, my man once did your father a great wrong. Never asked me what my lips are sealed. There have always been stark adders at Cold Comfort, and we will do our best to welcome Robert Post's child. Yours affectionately, J. Starkadder.
Sounds absolutely appalling.
Quite, but interesting.
Yes, it does sound interesting and appalling. The others just sound appalling.
Oh, Charles, that was a wonderful evening.
It was a pleasure. That was to celebrate the inauguration of your career as a parasite. All the same, I do think you might have stayed with us. I do happen to be your cousin, you know.
Oh, good heavens, I wasn't angling for an invitation. You didn't think I was.
No, of course not, Flora. All the same, I've written to Mother and my sister, and we'd all be delighted to have you down in Hertfordshire.
Oh, Charles.
There's a swing in the garden and tobacco flowers in the summer.
Charles, it's really very kind of you all. Do thank your mother and cousin Helen. But I've already decided exactly where I'm going to live. I shall be going there on Tuesday after lunch.
Well, Flora, if you get sick of it, you will phone me, won't you? And I'll come and rescue you in my plane.
What a plane, Charles?
Uh-huh.
I don't think a parson should have a plane.
Ah, the old C of E's not what it was.
What kind of plane is it?
A Policia Bat, and its name is Speed Cop II. Anyway, you let me know when things get too much for you, and I'll come along. Where is it?
Cold Comfort Farm.
Cold Comfort Farm.
How do you? Sussex.
When I on it, my of May, when I undid my codpiece, her plaintive voice did say, "You'll marry me, I hope."
You must go down to Beerzone tonight and meet the train.
Couldn't my sister do that instead of me?
You remember what happened last time when he went to meet the new kitchen maid?
I'll go, Miss Judith. I'll go. Aye. She asked me if I'd marry her and be her husband through. Yeah. Robert Post, child. Back to cold comfort. 'Tis strange.
When the play falls right, oh, hark how he frolics amongst the dun leaves. Merrily puffing life into dried twigs. Dear, dear brother Will.
Shut that door!
Hey! There goes socks a hush to my little Elfie, my little mummies. Come to old Adam. Come help old Adam with the cluttering.
She hinders more than she helps.
Yeah.
Miriam!
What the bells? What are you doing here cluttering? I'm a dairyman, not a clatterer. A dairyman, do you hear me?
You're the finest dairyman in the county. No one can draw milk like you, Adam.
Not till I've flung these fingers, tended the udders. Have not these hands drawn the calf from the belly of the cow? Me, a clatterer.
Miriam!
When thou wert but a tiny babe, a cross were put upon my feeding bottle.
Adam, speak not of that.
'Tis true.
In Watermole's blood it were.
Why?
Why?
Ask her.
Thy tongue.
'Tis time she knew it. Solemn promises were made to her unfair
That's
invention.
enough!
Shame on this family.
You Coleman? It's time to prepare for our guest. Help Adam with the cluttering.
Yes, Mum.
Yeah, you begging! Yeah! Shame on ya!
Go!
Shame on this house!
Libertine! Isn't Molly at the mill or Vera at the vicarage enough for you? Or Ivy perhaps at the ironmongery, but you must give our hard girl her fork?
Her bedays me, work devilish on me, as a woman does.
Seth, my son, do you want to break my heart?
Yeah.
Did you tell me you didn't you? Did the tuppence Seth Starkadder?
All right, I did.
Alan! Alan! Alan Jackson! Alan! Robert Post, child. I see. Yeah. Down, boy.
How do you do? Oh, you must be my
my cousin Judith. Oh, I'm glad to see you. How nice of you to come out in all this cold. Terribly good of you to have me, too. Isn't it curious that we've never met before?
The seconds passed. Flora wondered if her lipstick were the wrong shade, then decided Columbus must have received a similar solemn, unwavering gaze when he met his first poor Indian. Never before had a Starkadder looked upon a civilized being.
I'm awfully tired, you know. I wonder, could I have a morsel of food in my own room, and then I
It's
could...
cold in there.
Oh, a fire will soon warm it up. Oh, it's too nice.
The
I
chimney
do think...
perhaps smokes.
I think it more than probable. Shall we go in now? Oh, my trunk will be coming up by carrier's van tomorrow.
My sons are waiting to see their cousin.
Oh, I say that is
Seth?
nice of them, but if I...
Reuben?
I wonder, would you think it terribly rude of me if I didn't meet the rest of the family tonight?
Follow me.
Ada.
Just tread quietly when you pass her door, won't you?
Why? Is she sick or something?
You could call it sick, aye. When she were a little tiny girl, she once saw something nasty in the woodshed.
Did she now? Shh.
Flora wondered if she'd been wise to come. However, her hand was on the handle of the plough, and she would not turn back. Because if she did, Mrs. Smiling would make a particular sort of face, which in another and more old-fashioned woman would have meant, "I told you so."
Now, who wants a cow with 3 legs?
I don't know. If I did, I wouldn't tell you.
What's that, you dirty old fool of a man?
Yourself. What's in them beds like you do? Just a waiting for dead men's shoes.
Dead men's shoes, and why not? Who'll run this farm if we don't? The Queen's bane blighting the corn, and the King's evil lane wastes the clover, and the Prince's forfeit bringing black ruin on their head!
Why do you think I've been I've been ever since breakfast, I've been saying we're from that here
Now, where's that thing?
I say, do you think you'd mind not talking quite so loudly, please? I'm extremely sleepy. I'd be very grateful if you would. Thank you so much.
Because I have in mind all those thousands of persons, not unlike myself, who work in the meaningless bustle of offices, shops and homes, and are not sure whether a sentence is literature, nor whether a camera shot is worthy of winning the Italia Prize, I have adopted a method perfected by the late Herr Bedecker. And have firmly marked what I consider the finer passages with 1, 2, or 3 stars. You are now witnessing a 2-star passage. The man's big body, etched menacingly against the bleak light that stabbed upon him, did not move. His thought swelled like a beck in spate behind the sodden grey furrows of his face. A woman. A she-woman. She has come to wrest from him the land whose love fermented in his veins like slow yeast.
Break her. Break. Keep and hold. Hold fast the land.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, miss.
Where is everybody?
Oh, I ever see you be practicing his preaching. Seth will be up somewhere in Mollikin. Judith, she'll be upstairs laying out her cards.
Oh, good. I'll see her later. Mollikin? What's Mollikin?
Yeah.
No, don't tell me. I can guess.
Breakfast has been over an hour or more.
Well, is there some bread and butter and some tea?
You'll find tea in the jar and butter in the crocket. You'll have to fend for yourself, Robert Poste, child.
Would you happen to have a piece of clean newspaper I could just put on the corner here to protect me from the,
Oh, porridge, I shouldn't bother
it
with
seems to
that.
have got tossed about a bit this morning, doesn't it?
Well, you'll have to do so. I can't be bothered riding hither and thither for some flippity gibbet wench. There's your curse on it, Robert Poste, child.
A curse? Oh, is that why everything looks so gone to seed? Well, couldn't you get somebody down from London who knows how to run things?
I've got my neighbours to attend to.
The land. Thy birthright, the land. The iron furrows of frosted earth under the rainlust. The swelling slow burst of seed sheaths. The slow smell of beasts and cry of beasts. The trampling bull pride of the bull in his hour. She shall not take them from you. Never.
Good morning. Reuben. I'm your cousin, Flora Poste. How do you do? Oh, it's nice to have someone come in for some tea. Do you take milk? Sugar? No, I don't, but I find that some of my friends do. There we are. Too hot for you?
I scrambled at 200 furrow come 5 o'clock down in the boat.
Did you?
Aye, I did too. 200. 200 from Ticklepenny Corner down to Nettleflitch. Could you have done that?
No, indeed. But then, you see, I shouldn't want to.
Wouldn't you? But you'd pay a hired man good money to do it for you, while they wasting the farm's takings.
I'd let you do it.
That's a mapsy word to use to a man who's nursed a farm like a sick mammoth. It's a fine word!
Look here, we really might get this right. Your farm!
You'll never take
Don't
it
you talk to
from
me like that? It's ridiculous. I don't want to scramble it. And the last person.
Help me, won't you? Help me.
Yes, but who are you?
I be Rennet, I be. I be own daughter of Micah's Susan, that's married to Mark. Him be an own half-brother to Amos, Micah's cousin, Judith's man.
Splendid.
I be a relation, all right. Here. Is thou been served?
Served? Oh, I got up rather late for breakfast, so I don't expect you
No.
to be running around all
I don't mean served. I mean served. I mean served. Like them. I ain't.
What?
I ain't been put as yet. That's why they'll torture me. Judith. And Aunt Ada. The silk binds in flower. They'll bring silk bind into the house. They'll make it open its petals. And then they'll do it to me.
What?
Word of warning to you. If thou art as yet untrimmed, they'll be a-doing it to it too. So get thee to a man. Get thee to a man afore it's too late.
Faces like flowers, and their breath is a wine.
She's took a fancy to young Master Richard. They meet in the woods.
Master Richard? Now, who's he?
The young squire up at the hall.
Oh, of course, the young squire. Who
If you
else?
ask me, you'll be giving her the knowledge afore long. Is it right? Having the knowledge, and her only 17, and me not having had it as yet? Ash!
Forgive me, Lord, forgive me. Blessed be thy name.
Excuse me. I say, excuse me. There's a... Oh, I'm Flora Poste.
Robert Post's child,
Yes. And you are...
Amos Starkadder.
Oh, Judith's husband.
I wedded and bedded her.
Oh, how do you do, Cousin Amos? Oh, thank you for having me here.
I could do no other. 'Twas me that wronged your father.
Oh, yes. What did you do?
Ask me not. Ask me not. My maker knows. I've told him, and he has dealt with me. I flailed and fustigated, scourged me to my soul's marrow. Yes.
Oh, dear. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sure Father wouldn't have wanted that to happen, whatever you'd done to him.
Judge not ye the Lord.
Sorry. Are you going to preach to the brethren tonight?
Aye, that I am. They'll all burn in hell. And the Lord has bidden me tell them so.
May I come with you, Cousin Amos?
Aye, aye, you can come.
Oh, thank you.
But maybe you think you can escape hellfire if you come along with me and bow down and quiver, huh? But I'm telling you, no. No, you've left it too late. There'll be time to say what sins you've done, but no time for more.
Do I have to say them out loud?
Aye, loud and clear for all to hear.
Oh, well, in that case,
But
I'm afraid
no,
I'd much rather not.
Not tonight. There'll be far too many others tonight, craving to call their sins aloud.
Oh, of course, I quite understand. Thank you.
Well, I mun do what I can for Robert Post's child. So I'll put in a good word for you with him. Then it's for him to decide. He judges, not I.
How good of you.
Aye, but I fear you've left it too late. You'll burn with the rest. Still, I'll drop a word in his ear. But more than that I cannot do.
If Flora intended to tidy up Cold Comfort, she would find herself opposed at every turn by the influence of Aunt Ada Doom. Storms are what the Aunt Adas of this world enjoy. Doors slammed, furious faces, brooding faces, emotional wallowings, misunderstandings, intriguing, spyings, interferings, anything but a tidy life. How they do enjoy themselves.
Yeah, we're a bit off our food this morning, as you might say. We've only had 2 goes of porridge, a couple of hard-boiled eggs, a kid that's just on the turn.
Come in.
Cousin Judith, good morning. I'm so sorry to disturb you if you're busy writing letters. I just wanted to know whether you'd like me to amuse myself and make my own arrangements, or should I pop in and see you about this time every morning? Personally, I think it's much easier if a guest wanders round and finds her own ways of passing the time. After all, I'm sure you're very busy.
Busy? I'm busy weaving me own shroud, belike. Do as you please, Robert Post, child. Give me time, and I'll atone for the wrong my man did your father. Give us all time, and we'll all atone.
I suppose you wouldn't care to tell me what the wrong was. I mean, I do think you've made things a bit easier.
My lips are sealed.
Just as you like, of course, Cousin Judith. Oh, but there is one thing. My father's left me an allowance of £100 a year. Now, I suggest that if I hand over to you the first...
We won't touch 8 near Robert Post's money. While you're here as the guest of Cold Comfort. Every middock you eat is paid for by our sweat. And that's as it should be, seeing the way things are.
Oh, well, I'll ask Aunt Ada about it. By the way, I adore my bedroom, but do you think I might have my curtains washed? I believe they're red and should so like to make
Curtains? Child. Oh, 'tis many a long year since such trifles crossed the web of my solitude.
Oh, one of the farmhands might do them, perhaps.
'Tis Miriam's task. We have a hired girl, but hers in labour. That hut, down the far end of Nettleflitch Field, be her breeding box. Always goes to the same place when hers in fast kindle.
What? In that grim-looking hut without a doctor or anything? Oh, but, I mean, don't you think we'd better fetch one?
Leave her in peace.
But,
Animals such as Miriam are best left alone at such times. 'Tain't the first she's dropped.
Oh, too bad.
Oh, it's the 4th. Every year in the fullness of summer, when the soup bind hangs heavy from the wains, 'tis the same. Then the spring comes and her hour is upon her again. 'Tis the hand of nature. We women can't escape it.
Oh, can't we? Well, she can't wash the curtains if she's having a baby, can she?
Now look at him! The shame of our house! Cursed be the day I brought him forth and the nourishment he got from my bosom, and the wooing tongue God gave him to bring disgrace upon poor, weak women.
I don't suppose he plays football anymore. Probably Monarchs instead. But, Cousin Judith, if you really think she'll be about again in a day or two, I'll just pop down to her hut and make some arrangements about the curtains.
Flora had a lively acquaintance with confinements through the works of women novelists, especially those of the unmarried ones.
Hello?
Who are you?
Miss Post from the farm. May I come in?
What do you want with me and mine?
Mrs. Starkadder seemed to think you might feel well enough in a day or two to wash my bedroom curtains.
Why'd you come here mocking me and me shame? You only helped me trouble yesterday night.
Yesterday?
Brought forth a child, I did. Mother's got him now, her looks after him.
But I mean, all that crying out, wasn't that you?
Well, me, all right. Only when me trouble come, there were a wind howling. No use me trying to shout above it. So I left me mother until this morning. I'd like some Starkadders to know what I've been through. And those to know what'll happen to me when the soot binds on the edges. And I feel so strange in them long summer evenings.
Nothing will happen to you if you just use your intelligence and see that it doesn't. Now...
And carefully, in cool phrases, Flora explained to Miriam how to forestall the effect of too much sookbind and too many long summer evenings upon the female system. And sensing this guileful cousinage of fecundation, for one brief moment the spawning earth twitched, quailed, and was stricken with uterine apprehension. Worm jarred not with worm, nor seed with seed. Beetle and finchfly were not spared. Creatures of wood and field, meadow and hill, the trout sperm of the brook, and the burgeoning thorn on the flint-fanged crag, all seemed to fold inwards upon themselves. And under the ominous bowl of viscous light, their dumbness cried, "Flora, meddle not. Life's riddle is not to be challenged. Multiply we must, so that our bodies may return exhausted, hour by hour, minute by minute, to the all-forgiving and all-comprehending slime from which we came."
'Tis flying in the face of nature.
Nonsense. Nature's all very well in her place, but she mustn't be allowed to make things untidy.
'Tis mother, come in.
A nasty day, isn't it, miss? Well, ain't you going to ask me how he is?
No need to ask, he'll be doing fine, he always does. Do you want me to wash her curtains?
Who's she, the cat's mother? You must excuse her, miss. She's more like our father's side of the family. It was a black day for me when I took up with Agony Beetle and left Sydenham, miss.
Well, goodbye, Miriam. And remember, no more sookbind.
What she told you then? Oh, it's no news to me, Mariam. Though I wasn't quite sure how it was done or how much they'd cost.
'Tis wickedness. 'Tis flying in the face of nature.
That's right. All the same, it might be worth trying, though.
Amos?
Huh?
It must be so interesting to preach to the brethren, Cousin Amos. I quite envy you. Do you prepare your sermons beforehand, or do you just make it up as you go along?
Don't ye speak of the word of the Lord in that godless way. No, the word is not prepared beforehand. It falls on me like manna from heaven into the bellies of the starving Israelites.
Oh, really? How interesting. And you've got no idea what you're going to say before you get there?
I always knows it'll be something about burning, or eternal torment, or sinners coming to judgment. I don't exactly know what the words will be till I looks around at all their sinful faces. Then I knows what I mun say, and I says it.
I suppose you must like preaching very much.
Aye, that I do. Nay, 'tis a fearful torment. But 'tis my mission.
You know, you ought to preach to a larger congregation than the brethren.
Huh?
I said you ought to preach to a larger congregation than the brethren.
Say you so?
I do. I mean, you're wasting yourself on a few miserable sinners round here. You ought to get into a Ford van and go touring around the country, preaching on market days.
Aye, but that would be exalting myself, puffing myself up, putting my own glory before the glory of the Lord.
Would it matter if you do puff yourself up as long as souls are being saved?
Nay, lass. Puffing be a sin.
Ah, but in that case, that means you're setting your own miserable soul before spreading the word of the Lord.
Aye, there's truth in what you say. maybe it is my duty to seek a wider field. Aye. I mun think of it.
Of course you mun. You must. Wouldn't you like to preach to thousands?
Aye, verily, I have the call, and I knows it.
Well, then.
But a sinner never knows how the devil's going to dress himself up to deceive.
Amos!
Oh, Lord, how devious are thy ways. Yet if 'tis thy command, all puffed up, I'll come to thy footstool.
Atta boy! We're late.
Huh?
We're late.
Nay, lass, I times it all precise. It would never do for me to be mixing with them like any simple soul. I be the preacher. I don't comes in till they start. Right. Ambleforth. He leads the quivering.
Is that a poker he's conducting with?
Why, surely. 'Tis to put us in mind of hellfire. Now sit you down.